Shawn Lipman's career is marked with high accolades as both a player and a coach. The South African-born rugger moved stateside in 1986 and started playing for the Santa Monica Rugby Club. He moved on to make his Eagle debut in 1988. He also represented the USA at the 1991 World Cup. He is the first player ever at the Maccabi Games to win a gold medal as both a coach and a player.
Our next introducer met our next inductee when they were 18 years old, playing rugby for the University of Witwatersrand. They would go on to be teammates for the next 37 years on South African and USA Maccabi teams, gold medal winning teams rather, Santa Monica Rugby Football Club, the Classic Eagles, and Santa Monica Beach Box, as well as becoming his business partner, godparents to his kids, and consummate partner in crime. Ladies and gentlemen, nice hand for Gary Putterman.
Some of you may have been at the game. Some of you may have heard the story, but it was a very, very tense game with a few minutes to go, and the ref blew up Shawn for being offsides. Shawn was furious. He stormed up to the ref and started arguing. Going nowhere, he said to the ref, "What would you do if I called you an asshole?" The ref said, "If you do that, I'll send you off." Shawn thought for a moment and then said, "Well, what would you do if I just think it?" The ref said, "I can't do anything." So Shawn said, "Okay, I think you're an asshole." Good evening, everyone. I am not here to tell you that Shawn played against the best teams in the world, including the All Blacks in England in the 1991 World Cup. And I'm not here to tell you that Shawn, in the amateur era, represented the US in over 20 internationals, including 9 tests. And I'm not here to tell you that Shawn played for the Eagle Sevens team. And I'm not here to tell you that Shawn represented the West Coast Griffins and Grizzlies in tournaments and tours, including the highly successful Tour of South Africa, where they beat the giant provincial teams Natal and Free State. And I'm not here to tell you that Shawn represented the US Maccabi team in Israel over a period of 24 years as a player, a captain, a flag bearer, head coach, tournament MVP, and won 4 gold medals, which is the most ever. And I'm not here to tell you that Shawn played for the Santa Monica Rugby Club for over 15 years, captaining the side for many of those seasons, and nominated as most valuable player 5 times. And I'm not here to tell you that Shawn retired from the club on 4 separate occasions, and he delivered 4 unique retirement speeches. And I'm not here to tell you that Shawn represented the Transvaal Under-20 provincial team, or the equivalent of the Super Rugby team, the Lions, and would have played senior provincial rugby if he remained in South Africa. And I'm not here to tell you that Shawn has already been inducted into the USA National Maccabi Sports Hall of Fame with greats like Mark Spitz and Sandy Koufax, the USA Rugby Hall of Fame, and the Santa Monica Rugby Sports Hall of Fame. And I'm not here to tell you that Shawn founded and ran a very successful youth rugby program in Southern California and was the assistant coach for the Santa Monica Super Rugby team. And I'm not here to tell you that with his fiery competitive spirit and leadership, he instilled enormous confidence in every teammate around him, very much including myself. And I'm not here to tell you how much fun Shawn is to tour with, to drink with, or to hear him sing Mustang Sally. which I'm sure we'll hear tonight. And I'm not here to tell you what an innovative and successful businessman Shawn is. And I'm not here to tell you how loved Shawn is by his friends, how generous he is, and how much he does for everyone and anyone in need. And I'm not here to tell you how much of a family man Shawn is, nothing being more important than his family. But I am here to let you know that Shawn got the itch again, and he's coming out of retirement for the 5th time for tomorrow's game. Gary Gold, you might want to take a note of that. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so proud to introduce 2019 Hall of Fame human being, Shawn Lipman.
Well, it's always bad when the opener is better than the closer. We're at the 7th inning stretch, and so if you wouldn't mind, I'd like everybody to stand up. Have a little stretch. It's my dad's 89th birthday today, and he's watching on the Facebook. And so if you wouldn't mind, I'd like you all to sing Happy Birthday to Joe. All ready? Happy birthday to Joe. Happy birthday to Joe. Happy birthday, dear Joe. Happy birthday to Joe. Thank you. My journey has been blessed. Oh, sorry, that's like 4th page. Sorry. We'll start again. It really has been blessed. In 1823, William Webb Ellis, with a fine disregard for the rules of soccer, picked up the ball with his hands and he ran with it. I'm pretty sure that William didn't know then that he would set in motion a course of events that would change my life forever. How could Ellis know that his irreverent act would result in the creation of a sport that would become the essence of my existence and define a young South African boy for the rest of his life? Even before I started playing rugby at the age of 12, I loved it. I played imaginary games in the backyard, and even to this day, I love the smell of freshly cut grass. I love the smell and touch of a rugby ball, and that gut-wrenching feeling before you go on the pitch. Rugby has always been a part of my soul. In reflecting on a lifetime's involvement in this amazing sport, I've realized that it's not the accomplishment of wins and championships and personal accolades that makes being a rugby player such a privilege. It's the lessons learned. It's the deep personal bonds that are formed that create the lasting foundation for a life better lived as a result of being a rugby player. My journey has been blessed with the opportunity to learn how to win, how to lose, how to lead, and how to be led, how to coach, and how to be coached, how to be a good friend and a teammate, how to deal with adversity, and how to deal with triumph, with humility and dignity. Rugby's been the petri dish of my life. Rugby requires honesty, courage, resilience, leadership, camaraderie, and teaches some harsh lessons. These are the lessons that have become ingrained in me. When I arrived in the US as a 21-year-old with just a backpack and a desire to find some like-minded sportsmen, Jim and Chip, I was lucky to stumble on the Santa Monica Rugby Club. And within 2 weeks of arriving here, almost immediately I had a family and a community that invited me and made me a part of their history. When I look around this room tonight and I've been walking around and meeting all people, I only reflect on how privileged I am to have played with many of you here, played against many of you here, been coached by many of you here, coached many of you here, and most importantly, made friends with most of you here. I've always been exceptionally proud to be a US rugby player. I always felt that we reflected the essence of everything that was pure about the sport. US rugby, especially in our era of playing, it stripped the game to its bare bones. No big money, scarce playing fields, no publicity. Many of us here remember practicing on poorly lit fields, dodging flying bullets, or used needles, broken glass on the ground, setting up our own goalposts before playing a game, and having to line our grassless fields before we played. Then we'd go on tour and we'd play an international in Twickenham or in some other large stadium against the best in the world. Then we'd return back to work after our tour, no fanfare, no one even understanding what we just experienced. I think many of us, that's a big part of what it was like when we were playing. So in the truest sense, American, with our pride, our athleticism, we didn't just only compete, but we gave as good as we got. And as Gary said, there were times that we would play against the best in the world, and we saw glimpses of this when we would beat teams like Natal, the Midlands, Orange Free State. They were all loaded with internationals. But still, when we'd meet them in the bar afterwards, we had just beaten them, and they'd come up to us with a beer, and they'd spend the whole evening telling us what we needed to do and how we needed to learn how to play better. And we're like, well, you should only tell us that when you beat us, which they also did too. But now we see our women's team and our men's team already qualified for the Olympics, #1 in the world. Gary Gold, 9 wins in a row, already qualified for the World Cup. And Gary, you've got all of us just so behind you. I don't know where he is, but we wish you all the best tomorrow and for the World Cup. I think you've made a great impact in American rugby. We're proud to have you. But all of that is a true testament to the generations of players, many of us here tonight, that have come before and pioneered the modern US game. And I'm really proud to have been a part of that generation. One thing that's been a constant in my life, especially coming from South Africa, and it wasn't part of my speech, but Vi, you actually made me think about it, and I wasn't going to speak about it tonight. And I have to congratulate you on being the first Polynesian to be in the US Hall of Fame. And it made me reflect that I'm the first Jewish player to be in the US Hall of Fame. And I think it's a reflection really of the beauty of the sport, is when anyone tells you can't do something, Jews can't play rugby, or you can't do this and you can't do that, everyone can basically pitch up and show everyone that if anyone tells you can't do something, you can do it. So when I look around the room tonight, I feel truly humbled and blessed. I see the story of my life here. All of my greatest moments of my life have played out with many of you here tonight, on and off the field. The memories overflow for me. You're all a part of my own personal Hall of Fame. And I could spend the entire evening espousing each of your individual virtues tonight. Without all of you, there'd be no me. I have to make special mention of the most important influence in my life, my wife, Karen. Even though I don't think she has watched a full game of rugby from start to finish, she's been my biggest cheerleader. She's been my strongest advocate, and she's always encouraged me to play and participate in my sport as long as it provided me with joy and meaning. In the worst moments, racked with injuries and self-doubt, she made it clear that if I didn't do everything I could to get healthy for the World Cup, I would regret it for the rest of my life. And she was right. And so thank you, Karen. Having had the opportunity to represent my country at the highest level is truly one of the proudest accomplishments of my life. But my greatest accomplishment are my 3 kids, Scott, Jamie, and Lindsay, in no particular order, because otherwise they say, how come you said his name before mine? You guys, it's the amazing, inspirational people you've grown up to be is just remarkable to me, and I'm a very proud father. Thank you. And then my remarkable friends who've all come here tonight to honor me are the bedrock of my life. And this accolade, and I keep looking this way, but I got a couple that side as well. You're the bedrock of my life, and this accolade is your accolade. I wouldn't be here without everything you've done with and for me. So thank you to all my friends. I already acknowledged my dad, Joe, so happy birthday, my dad. And I have to acknowledge my mom, Jane, who's not here tonight, but she's here in spirit with me. And so to my mom, Jane. And then Vizzy, my teammate, my captain. He used to kick me in the head every time we used to play against them. I used to hate him, and then I used to love him when I played with him. Thank you, and thank you to the US Rugby Federation for bestowing such an amazing honor on me. Being inducted with not only the amazing, amazing people tonight, but the people who have come before me is truly going to be one of the greatest honors of my life. Thank you very much.
I'm not here to tell you, I used to love when the Southern California rugby schedule ended, as then I wouldn't have to play against Shawn, but with him on SoCal, Pacific Coast, and Eagle teams. I used to have to face him in Santa Monica 4 or 5 times every year, and they were always hard-fought matches, mainly because of Shawn's presence. He was just such a great rugby player and had a terrific rugby brain that I came to the conclusion that there were either 2 Shawns on the field at all times, or he was offsides just about every single play. And I know there's not 2 of them, so congratulations, Shawn. It was an honor playing against you and with you.